The first domino just fell. He is now charged. There's an official charge associated with the Diddy sex trafficking allegations. It's going down. Brendan Paul has officially been charged with drug possession because you remember, when they were raiding Diddy's homes, when the Homeland Security was raiding Diddy's homes, they were showing it on TV, all of the video footage and so forth and so on. They stopped Diddy at the airport. They escorted Brendan Paul off of his private jet, off of the Lovejet, and they found cocaine and marijuana. This is the first domino to fall in the Diddy sex trafficking allegations, and it's only going to get worse.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 45 minutes.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
You got knocked the fuck out! What's happening?
Now, if you can recall, there's been numerous sexual assault allegations and lawsuits filed against Diddy. But in one particular, from Rodney Jones, he brought up Brendan Paul's name, and he alleged that he's Diddy's personal mule, meaning mule in providing all of his drugs and other criminal paraphernalia. So this was already opening eyes, and people were already looking at Brendan Paul. And not to mention, he's already been in the spotlight to a degree. He's already been accustomed to throwing assists and supporting people. But I don't mean in regular life. I mean in playing basketball. Brendan Paul is a former basketball player for the Syracuse Orangemen. So Brendan Paul went to college and things like that. How did he become a mule for Puffy? Now, sources say that Paul is Diddy's top associate, meaning that he has all of Diddy's scheduling and he knows all of the other situations and circumstances that Diddy is involved in. So by Brendan Paul being arrested, it now has Diddy shaking in his boots. Because you already know the alphabet boys, the FBI, Homeland Security, they know how to get people, how to interrogate people to get them to talk. And this is the worst fear for Diddy. Brendan Paul's attorney, Brian Bieber, he made a statement. He said that this case will be resolved in the courtroom. It will not be resolved in the eye of public opinion. I think that was clever because ultimately what he's saying is that, listen, I'm getting a late start because the public opinion has already been very fruitful with all of the allegations, all the news coverage, all of the reports and things like that. So best believe this case is not going to be solved by public opinion. So I don't care what y'all say. In other words, this is going to be solved by a 12-person jury in a court of law. Right? Now, Paul, like I mentioned before, he's no stranger to supporting people and throwing assists. He was a basketball player for Syracuse in college. Now, as mentioned earlier, Paul was arrested at the Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport. Now, feds found cocaine and marijuana in Paul's bag. Now, Paul was immediately arrested and taken by authorities. But I got a few questions.
Yes.
And watching closely how these Diddy assault allegations and all these lawsuits unfold, now seeing Brendan Paul arrested, it just raises a few questions. First question is this. Was this charge on Brendan Paul an attempt to put pressure on Brendan Paul to snitch on Diddy? And this is what the feds will do.
God.
They will basically say, they're going to scare Paul and say, this is what you could be facing if all of these allegations hold true and you're found guilty and you're connected to these sexual allegations, these sexual assault allegations. This is the devastation of what your life is going to be. 20, 30 years in prison, whatever they telling them. And then they'll tell them the good part, a positive perspective. However, if you give us what we need to know, if you tell us more information, if you allow us to bring down someone else that's connected to this situation, then maybe you'll get off with a smack on the wrist. maybe some probation or so forth, or maybe just a short jail time. Now, it's easy to say, don't snitch and don't be a snitch and this, that. But how would you respond if you were in that situation? You were facing 20 to 30 years in jail, and all you know that you was doing was allegedly providing drugs to a rap mogul. How would you respond? So that's something to ponder, right? Second question: is Paul's charge protection to Brendan Paul, knowing that he was connected to Diddy, knowing that he was his head associate, knowing that Brendan Paul knows practically everything?
Yes.
So was this arrest protecting Brendan Paul for the backlash that could potentially come his way from the Diddy camp, knowing that they got to erase all loose ends, especially as this case proceeds to court and as charges start to come down? As you see, this is the first official charge on Brendan Paul, which is ultimately going to affect this whole entire ordeal, this whole sexual trafficking, whole ordeal by Diddy. Listen, this Diddy sex trafficking, sexual abuse, sex allegations, all of this stuff is crazy. It's taking new twists and turns by the day. This sexual assault saga is just beginning too. We're going to see many more twists and turns as we proceed and see how this case unfolds. And this is the first charge on Brendan Paul. But this is just what this reminds me of. No one escapes life free. And here's the thing. Diddy has to be accountable for all the energy he put into the world, for all of the behavior that he displayed. He has to account for. This is just the beginning. Life is all about polarity. You can't have North Pole without having South Pole. You can't have good without bad, right? Everybody has to account in life. God created a perfect system called the universe and it's undefeated and it keeps a perfect score to make all of us accountable for all of our energy that we put into the world. The principle is sow and reap. Whatever you put into the world, you must also receive back from the world. And this is only karma coming back to Diddy, allegedly. But here's the thing. It's going to rain even harder on Diddy because just the way I asked one of the questions, is this arrest on Brendan Paul protection for him from Diddy's camp, trying to clear up any loose ends? And Paul is clearly a loose end because he knows too much. And he could definitely, what he knows could incriminate Diddy. So is this basically trying to protect a loose end before Diddy's camp erases the loose end? But nonetheless, this is still bringing heat on Diddy. Hopefully Farnsworth Bentley's umbrella is big enough to stop it from raining and pouring down on Diddy. But here's the thing. If you think this is bad, this is just drizzling. It's about to start pouring down on Diddy, especially if Brendan Paul starts to talk. Listen, we're going to keep you abreast to this situation, but thank you so much for watching and supporting. So you be great. And more importantly, be blessed.